In today's video, I'm going to try to make Papyrus look good in a Swiss design poster. Alright, I am not looking forward at all to making this video because I was able to kind of make Comic Sans look at least presentable in last week's video, but I don't know if I can do the same with Papyrus. The goal of this video is to see if we can actually use Papyrus in a Swiss design poster and actually make it look good. Not to say that I was super successful in Comic Sans last week, but it did start to look better as we were tweaking the kerning. So will the same rule apply to Papyrus? Well, we just need to see. Before we get started, please subscribe to support the channel. Alright, so I have my Swiss grid right here. Let's copy this and paste it directly into this new document. And I'm going to go up here to View, Guides, and Lock Guides. That way I can drag all over this and move things around and not move my guides. Okay, so since Oasis has officially announced their US tour dates, I'm going to make an Oasis tour poster using Papyrus. And I'm sure the boys will be just fine with that. So what I want to do is actually make a poster using an image. So let's go ahead and place an area for the image right here. And we're going to use the image that they are using for their tour. So I'm going to extend this to about that gutter right there. I think that's a good spot. And I'm thinking that the main block of text can go right here, and then the tour name can go here, and then the cities can go maybe somewhere up here to kind of balance it out. Since they're only playing 5 shows, yes, 5 shows in the United States, we don't really have a whole lot of text to work with. So let's see what we can do in a Swiss design layout using Papyrus as the typeface. So let's go ahead and type out Oasis right here. I'm going to enlarge this up to, we'll probably start it maybe like at 160. And I haven't done this in a long time. Let's type in Papyrus, and there it is. I didn't think it was possible that anything could look worse than Papyrus, but Papyrus Condensed is definitely a contender. So we're definitely going to stick with the regular default version of Papyrus. And let's go ahead and set this on this baseline right here. I'm going to go into my outline view so we can actually see that baseline line. Okay, that's actually aligning to that grid right there. And then since we can't actually see the overshoot of this O right here, I'm just going to go ahead and align the glyph right up to that line. You know, when I look at Papyrus, it's not necessarily the textures that look bad, it's the overall shape of the letters. So I don't really know exactly what I can do to make this look good. Let's just hope that kerning will do the trick. Okay, so already with kerning, it definitely looks better. But does it look good? Well, we'll see. All right, let's duplicate this down and get this down to that baseline. And we'll make the secondary typeface 60% of that size right there. And I believe they are just saying US Tour 25, and let me go verify that real quick. Okay, so they're just using the word live 25, so we'll use that in our poster here. Okay, so let's kern this up and we'll see if we can get this looking just even a little good. Okay, so just like Comic Sans, there's a lot of spacing in between the words themselves. And I'm just gonna go ahead and bring this apostrophe right here over to that grid line, and then we'll make sure that we give a good amount of space in between that apostrophe and the 2. And the 5 here can actually go pretty close to that 2 because of the way it wraps around the 2. Okay, so far this is looking pretty terrible. There's not really much that I can do with making Papyrus look good, but we're gonna keep on trucking and finish this out entirely. All right, so I have the tour dates copied onto my clipboard, and we don't really have a lot of flexibility here, so I might bring this in right here and then put my tour dates right up here. So let's draw a text box right here, and then we'll paste that in there. And we're gonna make this font size 30% of 96 points. Okay, so we can definitely do some condensing right here. And what I'm gonna do is say 8/24. Remember, I am in the US, so this is how the dates are gonna appear. Sorry for all of my European friends out there. And then I'm going to abbreviate the states right here. I just found out that the abbreviation for Mexico is MX, so we will use that. And I think what I'll do here is expand this out just a little bit, all the way to the edge, so that we can add some tabs. Okay, so one thing that I will say is that when it comes to the relationship of the spacing between the letters of Papyrus, it's not as bad as Comic Sans. However, on the flip side of that, you have to deal with the design of the Papyrus letters, which is definitely worse in my opinion in terms of how it looks visually. They just don't have a nice, appealing structure to them. Not to say that Comic Sans does, but the combination of the design of the letters and the default kerning definitely does it no favors for either font. Okay, so in terms of balance here, we've got a lot of heavy stuff going on this side. We need something small just to kind of balance this out right over here. So I'm going to paste in the official poster right here, and I am going to just set a little area of type right in this area right here. And we'll say special guest, Cage the elephant, and let's make this 60% of the size. At this point, I'm just kind of making up numbers, so we'll just kind of see how the relationship of the type goes. And we'll leave another spot down here for the ticket information. Okay, that's looking as good as it's gonna look. All right, I'm gonna go in here and kern this area right here. All right, so we have all of our text laid out here, and one thing that I will say is that overall, we have a good balance of typography here, but I think one change that I will make is I'm gonna go down here and just align this to the bottom. So that way it's at least flush with this, and we'll do the same thing right here. That way those baselines are aligned with each other, and yes, that looks a lot better. One of the most fun things about this particular challenge is trying to take a font that everybody hates and doing your best to make it look as good as possible, and making sure that you're externalizing outside of the stigma that is surrounded by all of these fonts. I'm trying to put myself into the mindset that I've never seen this font before, and just trying to make it work as best I can. All right, so let's go ahead and mask this image right here. I think what we might have to do is add a sub-quadrant in here so that I can extend this out just a little bit more. And this is one thing to keep in mind while you're making your Swiss posters. Your grids do not have to be set in stone when you create them. You can always change them in the middle of designing if it's needed. All right, so I'm gonna extend this rectangle here to this point so that we have a little bit more wide space right here. All right, that's working a lot better. And what we're gonna do is enlarge this just a little bit more. And now we're gonna send the image to the back, and let's select the black rectangle and the image, and we're gonna hit Command 7. And that's gonna limit the image on the inside of the clipping mask. And then I'll just double click to move the image a little bit more. All right, and here is our Oasis Live 25 US Tour Dates Swiss design poster with Papyrus typeface. Talk about a tone clash, because this does not work at all. But one thing that I will say after doing this poster design is that I have maybe a little bit more faith in using Papyrus to make it look good. It's obviously not appropriate for an Oasis poster, we know that for sure. But if you spend enough time actually kerning and really manipulating those individual letters across a poster or across a design, it can definitely look better than its default state. And of course, that's not saying much because we kind of said the same thing about Comic Sans. But this is a very fun design challenge and something that I would definitely encourage you to do if you want to try to make something look good that everybody hates. If you have suggestions for any other fonts that I should try in a Swiss design layout, definitely let me know down in the comments. I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.